It's been months since I did my review of this thing, and I thought it's time we actually put it through its paces on the track now that we've got the drive shafts working. The JD Models 6x6 Mercedes-Benz Zetros, also known as the Overlander from RC4WD Drive. Let's check it out. 6 months ago or so, when we had a chat about this truck, we had a breakage. If you haven't seen that video yet, pause this, go check that out. I'll wait right here for you. I wanted to show you more about how this thing can drive, because we never really got a chance. I did my very first drive with this thing. I got, I reckon, maybe 5 minutes of drive time, and then we lost the rear drive shaft. I had a replacement come, fixed it up, drove it again for 20 minutes just to enjoy the truck for the first time, and had another failure. I've since worked out the problem. I have a temporary solution in place now. The little E-clip kept getting popped off. That's been secured. Not particularly well, but as you can see there's my nice quality automotive fabric tape around each end. My thinking is that because this thing doesn't go hugely off-road, it should be okay. I've driven it quite a bit since then and it hasn't missed a beat. The shafts are otherwise lovely and strong. There's steel, universal joints, really good. It's just that exterior design where you've got the set screw, or it's just a pin really, and it's held in by an E-clip on each side. One of those gets popped off, the whole thing falls apart within a few meters, and it's like 4 or 5 pieces, little tiny pieces of metal that are really hard to find. Now I've been enjoying this thing. If you're unfamiliar with the truck, go check out my review first. The battery's in here, and there used to be the ESC as well, but I've since replaced its stock running gear with the Hobbywing Fusion 1200 kV system. So now, while the BEC from that system still is putting out 6 volts for the servos that run the rest of the thing, which is fine, we're now running with brushless power, which gives me that beautiful field-oriented control. That's the FOC from the Hobbywing, and it's buttery smooth. You get nice slow speed even in high gear, and when you're in low gear, you're in low gear, and it is fun. So I just wanted to show you how this thing drives. We're going to do some ascents and descents. I'll be playing the footage even while we're talking here, just so I can properly show you, because I've had a few people ask about this thing. It really is a fun truck, and like I said in the review, it is really just 3 solid axles, some big old wheels, and a motor. The chassis and cabin are almost an afterthought if you look at the weight of this thing. It is just one big solid lug of model, and it's a whole bunch of fun. Here we are at the top of a hill, and we're currently in high. We're going to put it in low gear, which uses the planetary. Then we go again, and you'll see those diffs, the actuators, they move. So now we've got diff lock engaged, and we're going to take a fairly risky descent. I lost my Mercedes badge from the front of this thing when I was driving it some time ago. I can't find it anywhere. That's that bit there. I'm gonna have to try and track one down. So right now we're running on the prescribed 3S LiPo that the sellers of the model recommend. And what's getting stuck here is the ladder on this rock. So we have to come across and then drag it back. There we go. So this is, I might have to get him out of the way. There we go, he's pretty big. So remember, this isn't really a rock crawler. It's a tow rig for trailers, and you've got your lovely plate on the back there. Now we're in low gear, it's using the planetary gearbox. This is not the slowest we can go. Right now is the slowest we can go. Look at that. Look how slow that is. Isn't that cool? Look at that. It's so slow. I love it. So you don't have the same clearance. See what the back wheels are doing. But gee, it's fun. Now, if you're coming down a steep hill in real life, as I have done many a time, if you start to go like that, you hit the accelerator. It seems counterintuitive, but you want to keep the nose pointing down. And you want to hope the trail doesn't veer off to the side, because then things get really sketchy. But if you, just like a ship pointing into a big wave, if you keep your nose pointed straight up or straight down on really steep stuff, traction then is your only issue, and you eliminate the risk of rolling as much as possible. Now we're at the bottom. One flick back on this thing. We're still in that same low gear, but now the diffs aren't locked. Now we go all the way back. Now we're in high gear. This is not as fast as we go. I'm using the stock gearing, but again, it's a 1200 kV brushless. I'm just taking it easy over all the bumps. Before we get to the faster stuff, I'll just show you one thing. We're in high gear. And with the FOC, it gives you the similar result as a censored brushless system. It's a different tech, but it's the same end result. My lowest speed in high is still that. It's still delightfully slow, thanks to the FOC in the Hobbywing Fusion. Although traction is an issue, as you can see. You can actually still attempt stuff like this with a run-up. Not really recommended in real life. Yeah. Anyway, we're not here for silly fun, we're here for serious fun. We'll get this thing over to the track and we'll see how fast we go. Alright. This is now top speed. It's a walking pace, moderate walking pace, not slow. Oh no, we've lost hands. Oh no! We've lost our driver. It's been a while since I've opened this. I had to fix one of these doors. There we go. Oh! He's lost his steering wheel. We did a little bit of hot glue in there under his bottom. He's not quite the right size driver for this. And our steering wheel had come off. He's back on now. Shut the door. There we go. Alright. So that's high speed, but what about the really low speed stuff? Can it crawl? Well, don't buy this if you're planning to crawl with it, unless you're comfortable getting rid of these mud guards or mud flaps. They are bolted in, they're not particularly sturdy, and when you're coming off a rock, they tend to catch, and it'd be just a shame to ruin them. Also, they're designed to take lights, although I haven't installed those yet. I have noticed this thing is lower to the ground, so towing big stuff like the T247 tank trailer you can see here, that's a lot harder. That's it's designed for the BC8 Mammoth, which actually sits an inch or two higher off the ground. So your support struts, your legs there, they get in the way of towing on this thing. A smaller trailer also is problematic, and I discussed this in my last video. I haven't actually found the ideal trailer to tow with this thing yet, but just for messing about, and I bet if you had the tipper tray on the back of it like RC4 Drive sells with the, I think it's the Overlander or maybe the Sledgehammer actually, that looks fun. But just getting around as it is, especially with this brushless motor, but even with the 55 turn brush that it came with, a lot of fun. I'm just glad now I can show you this thing with some reliability sorted. It's a ball of fun. If you do decide to get one yourself, just be sure to go over it with thread lock, because nothing is thread locked if it's the RTR version. And watch out for those drive shafts. The E-clips need to be captured. Also, can we do that here? Yeah, we can. I also loosened the set screws that held these in. So check that out. Your tyres go all the way to the ground, and you unbolt them and put them onto whichever tyre needed replacing. And I've also got the controller here and the programming port for the Fusion that sits behind the cab, as you can see. So it's really quite a lot of fun. And the set screws are here for these tyre bits, so there. I've just got them poking out a little, and then they just, is that right? Like, yeah, like that. Throw me a like if you found this little drive interesting. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll catch you next time on RC-TNT.